There's always been confusion in the price growth numbers because different research sources have different results. It's not unusual for one research entity to claim prices are rising in a specific market, while another source will declare that prices are falling. Now, both will be reported by news media as fact, causing considerable confusion for real estate consumers who are paying attention. Now, given that big money investment decisions are often based on this kind of data, it's important to be aware that real estate data is not necessarily fact. Very often it's dodgy data. Indeed, rubbery figures abound in the world of residential property. So, if you want to know which city or regional markets are doing best on price movements, it depends on whose data you trust. Now, one stark recent example, looking at the latest price data published by PropTrack and Cotality, says Darwin unit prices are falling, while the other says they're rising. In fact, they're rising by almost 13% in annual terms to be one of the strongest markets in the country. One source says that South Australia is the leader on house price growth amongst the regional markets, while the other finds that Western Australia is on top. So let's look at the latest price data from the two major sources and see where they agree and where they disagree. Now, according to Cotality, the runaway leader on house price growth amongst the capital cities is Darwin, up 17% in annual terms, followed by Brisbane, back on 10%. Perth, which was the price growth leader in 2023 and 2024 with annual rises above 20%, is now down to 9% in terms of annual price growth. Adelaide, which like Perth had exceptional price rises in 2023 and 2024, is now down to 7% annual growth. Melbourne, which previously had falling house prices, is now back in the positive with annual growth of 4% and rising. Sydney and Canberra are at similar levels, while Hobart is at the bottom of the table with annual growth of just 2%. But it means that all 8 capital cities are in the positive with house prices in annual terms, following October, in which all 8 capital cities had rises of at least 0.5% for the month. Now, the PropTrack figures are different, but they do show similar trends in many cases. PropTrack also has Darwin leading the capital cities, but up just 13% compared to Cotality's 17%, followed by Brisbane and Perth, both around 11%, and Adelaide on 10%, and that compares with Cotality's figure of 6% for Adelaide. PropTrack has Sydney up 7% compared to Cotality's 5%. Amongst the regional markets, Western Australia leads on 13%, with Queensland and South Australia both on 10% growth. The only market not rising is regional Northern Territory, according to Cotality, but PropTrack has all 7 regional market jurisdictions rising in annual terms, including the Northern Territory. And PropTrack finds that it's South Australia that's the leader on 12% annual growth, with Queensland and Western Australia next, both around 11%. New South Wales, Tasmania and Victoria all have solid annual growth in their regional markets. Overall, in the past 12 months, the combined regions have risen 7.6% and the combined capitals have risen by 6.3% according to Cotality, while PropTrack has regional house prices combined up 7.9% and the city house prices up 7.6%. So the two sources agree that there is solid house price growth in both the capital cities and the regional markets, and that the combined regions are slightly ahead of the cities in terms of annual growth in house prices. Turning to the unit markets, according to Cotality, Brisbane leads with prices up 14% in the past 12 months, followed by Darwin on 13% and Perth on 11%, with Adelaide recording 7%. The only city unit market not recording price growth, according to this source, is Canberra. But the PropTrack numbers are very different. Brisbane leads, yes, it agrees on that, but it's up 17%, not 14%. And Darwin is minus 0.8% according to PropTrack, whereas Cotality says Darwin units have risen 13%. That's quite a contradiction. Perth is up 14%, says PropTrack, rather than the 11% recorded by Cotality. And turning to the regional unit markets, Cotality finds that South Australia is the leader with 12.5% annual growth, followed by Queensland and Western Australia, both around 9%. Overall, regional unit markets are up 7.1% and city unit markets are up 3.4%. On the PropTrack numbers, South Australia leads with 12%, followed by Queensland marginally lower, Western Australia is just 7% rather than the 9% recorded by Cotality. And the overall numbers for unit markets are quite different, with 8.3% annual growth in the regions compared with 6.8% in the cities. The point on which the two major sources agree is that unit prices overall are rising faster in the regions than in the cities, and that house prices also are rising faster in the regions than in the capital cities.